Hello and welcome to what will hopefully be the first of many videos. I did a poll a while ago and people wanted to know what I've been working on, so here's the first video in that series. As you can see, there's been a couple of things I've been working on, things that haven't been shown before, so let's get right into it. So the thing that's most likely almost ready to be done is this TIE Reaper. It currently is undergoing some modifications, but this prototype, that's why it's multiple colored, and I'm currently updating it to better represent how this back portion looks and also increasing the troop transport area. So my previous design only could hold 2 troopers in here, and now it can hold up to 3. And then there was a few other details I noticed that I'm missing on this front part, but it basically has everything it should have. Oh, okay, that will not go back on. For those of you who have purchased the Sabine Wren TIE Fighter that uses that 2021 TIE Fighter basis, oh, the lighting is not very helpful on that, is it? I'm currently in the process of mocking up the new version I've had designed digitally, so that way I can post either version 2 or version 3 onto Reworkable. So that's coming soon-ish. What else have I done? People, if you've noticed those Figs of the Day posts, you may have noticed this guy. So here's a little closer look at what he looks like if I can get better lighting on him. There we go. So basically all I did was shorten up his legs and just make him a little bit more stout, I guess. I didn't like how I like the new head. The head is amazing. The fact the gun can go up and down is amazing. The fact that it has an antenna in the right spot is amazing. I just didn't like how long his legs were. So shorten those up and I think it looks a lot better. The other thing I did is, in addition to the door spider droids, I also updated this, mostly just to make the legs, it made it looser, but I think it's better. And basically all I did was replace the axle with a rod. So all you gotta do is change out the axle that's in there for, I think this is a length 4. Yeah, length 4 rod. It does mean it is potentially harder to have stay in one position, but it does also mean you can pose it in more positions, maybe. It may require some, like, sticky tack or whatever the stop motioners use for things, but yeah, I'll fix that when I'm done. I can't put that back on with one hand. Something else that's been in the works, I guess, is this. It's supposed to be an Imperial speeder. Now, it's from the old Marvel comics, so they had the license to do basically whatever they wanted. As I make some space, I'll talk about the history, I guess. And so in the comic, this is referred to as a speeder, but this thing is huge in both the comic and in this Lego build. So it's more of like a tank, but it's a repulsor craft, so like the AAT. So I guess if you want to call it a speeder, it technically is, but it's also massive. It did suffer from me dropping it by accident, so the head part is no longer attached anymore, but it basically did hang back about here-ish, or maybe a little farther back, and it worked out okay. It was pretty stable when it was all connected. I just haven't spent the time to reconnect it. And yeah, so it's got a lot of guns. It's got these ones, which I'm cheating in order to achieve flick fire missiles in classic style. I'm literally using a pin and a rod because I figured that's the best look for these types of guns for that. Okay, I'll have to put that on later. And then just to make it so it has a lot of open space, there's like a bunch of crates on the side. There's a bunch of these doors. This one's a little hard to open. There's a door on the back. I haven't worked on this one in months, unfortunately, so it's been sitting on my bedroom floor for a while, just waiting to be finished, because it still needs to be put in studio and finished up. Like, I never figured out how to do the window here, if there even is going to be a window, or it might just be a continuation of these interesting wedge slope parts going up. And then I think I decided on this one, but I can't remember. That's how long it's been, of like how to fill in this gap. But because I'm using the older style brackets, so there isn't space, I think, to put anything there, unless I do something like this where I just push recess it back by 1. I think I wanted to go towards this one, but like I said, I can't remember. I'll have to relook at what the the vehicle looks like in order to make a decision on that. Yeah, here's kind of just like what the interior looks like. Since it's just a mock-up, it is not structurally sound whatsoever. That's what I saved to do in studio. And then it's got some guns on the side. This thing is super armored. Like, it's both armored and heavily gunned to the teeth, basically. So it's got guns everywhere. There's some bigger ones, which are represented by these turntable ones. Or not turntable ones, the bubble ones. Glad I saved that. And then there's these smaller ones up here that are like that. Then there is a hatch on top, and I am cheating right now. A lot of my stuff is supposed to feel like it's a classic Lego Star Wars set, so they wouldn't have this massive round part or these macaroni parts. So usually when that happens, I just chalk it up and say it's from the complete saga, because the designers in that game kind of made up their own parts as they went. So this will have to be changed if I want to make it feel more classic, like how the TIE Reaper is. And then there's just this massive gun that I'm also cheating by using this new inverted cone piece, just so that I don't have to put a rod through a cone. Because putting... This is usually acceptable because the rod will usually come out, but some of my parts are fairly old, and so they like this to get stuck, and then it takes freaking forever and a ton of elbow grease to get the parts out. So I tend to try not to do this unless I know it's going to be kind of easy to take apart. Since most of these are prototypes, they need to be taken apart anyway to then be rebuilt to look like what they're supposed to look like. That way you don't get stuck with all the random A colors that are everywhere, like on this guy. Although I know the classic Lego Star Wars sets are prone to having random colors appear. When I try and build something, I try to make it look a little nicer than that. The other detail we're missing because it fell off when the thing fell onto the floor, I'm using these grate pieces that are like on the ATTEs for this back part. There's like some grating throughout this backside, and I was being lazy and I only used one hinge clip basically on all of them, and it now shows. And then that's basically it, at least for that's on my work table right now. Other little things I've got going on is I made these little like base plate kind of things, these freeform ones, so I could eventually start making those little short videos I used to do where I would just pose a bunch of figures on a plate and have the little turntable underneath spin around. So if you have any ideas for different scenes I could do, let me know. This one's supposed to be Tatooine, or I guess you could also make it Jakku, depending on who's on it, right? I've got another one that you probably saw when I was grabbing the Door Sweater droid. This one's a 2-story. This one's supposed to be Coruscant, so depending on how I like fill in the gaps and stuff, we can have different office scenes. So we can have like Palpatine's office, we could have the Jedi Temple, we could have a couple of things going on, right? So yeah, just let me know. I have another one for Geonosis that I don't want to show off because it already has a bunch of figures on it, and I don't want to spoil that one. So, but those are the 3 types I've got. So let me know what kind of figures you'd like to see, different scenes and stuff. Hopefully I can get back into it. I am hopefully going to be, in a couple of weeks, better defining like what I want on the channel. So if you see some videos disappear, it's mostly because I made them private, just because I feel like they don't represent who I want to be on YouTube at the moment. So there's that. Other updates, I guess I should say, is I am also continuing to build up some train stuff. There have been some new troublesome trucks, I think, since the last, at least since the last video. If you follow me on Instagram or have seen the YouTube posts, you've I think seen all of the new troublesome trucks and stuff I've been working on. I have a couple of other train projects in the works, but those are a secret for right now, like what they actually are. And then I think that basically covers everything. I guess I should mention these guys. If you've seen, I think I did a YouTube post or an Instagram post on them. I recently got an amazing haul of classic figures. So yeah, if you guys want to see like just an entire of one of these freeforms just full of clones, let me know, because now I can do it. So I got a bunch of normal plain ones, 2 more recon guys, 3 shocks, and 3 27ths. So quite a few figures, and I'm really happy that I've gotten those. Although they were an impulse buy. Maybe I shouldn't have bought them, but it's fine. And that basically wraps up everything I wanted to show off for this video. I've been Clone Creates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.